Doug Smith, the Toronto Star. Dwayne, your team had been a fourth quarter team for most of the season. Today, I think you were 12 for 16 from the field and 12 from 15 from the free throw line. Just explain where that comes from with such a young team.
Well, and it's funny you say that, but early in the year we said we want to be the Freddy Krueger of the NBA. Not give up, not give in. I think our guys have done that. We're going against a very veteran team like, Brooklyn. And, that's very difficult to do because they seem to find a way to try to challenge you and keep you on your toes and keep you on your heels. But I thought our guys did a good job of making sure they kept the pedal to the metal. I thought DeMar DeRozan tonight refocused. He got 5 fouls, kind of shook him a little bit, but he bounced back, refocused, and, making those free throws down the stretch were huge. And for him to come through and after a tough first game, everyone doubting him and that type of thing, I was really happy with that. But Brooklyn did a heck of a job in the first game of making sure they made him work to catch it. And, again, we made some adjustments to try to get him some open looks.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun. You had a timeout in the fourth quarter, and your whole team was together except for DeMar sitting on the bench kind of with his head down with 5 fouls. At that point, were you happy with him sitting there?
I didn't even just like they were talking about, who was in the crowd and all that. I didn't see it. We have a rule. We want guys around the huddle. Again, he probably was frustrated. He had 5 fouls. DeMar is the ultimate teammate, Steve. I mean, if he was being defiant or whatever, that's a first. And so I didn't even notice it. The guys that were in the huddle with Landry coming in, there's another name that guys stepped up, stepped in, and made an impact, but it didn't bother me. He came back and probably was refocusing and came back and played.
Dwayne, can you go into what Landry did for you tonight in particular? I mean, he didn't come off the bench at all for you in the first game, and he kind of came in with some pretty big minutes tonight. Well,
that's why you have 15 contracts. One, first of all, John's been struggling a little bit with his back, and Landry had a good practice, I think, as you told me yesterday. And so he came in, did gave us energy most of all. Some energy, focus, making guys work. He didn't stop anybody, but as far as the energy and focus he gave in the one-on-one defensive situations was good for us.
Eric Green, National Post. Can I ask you for your PG thoughts when that Paul Pierce 3 was in the air as well? Just the defense on the three-pointers. Again, they shot 29%, which is another good result.
Well, the PG, well, I can't say what I wanted to say, but again, those type of things that we had one in the first half with Teletovic, I thought we fell asleep on. And that's something you can't do in the playoffs. Each possession is important. Attention to detail is important, and I thought we did, for the most part, for the game, we did that. But, that's what Paul Pierce does. He makes big shots. We knew that going in, and you can't leave a guy like that open. I thought he and Joe Johnson tried to go to work on us in the fourth quarter, but, we did a pretty decent job.
Dwayne, Michael Grange from Sportsnet. Besides the obvious, what does it mean for the guys on that team that they did get a win? They were able to prove that they could compete with these guys in the playoffs.
Well, the thing about it, Michael, is I thought it gave us some confidence. Everybody's doubting us and everything, which is great. It's fine. Can they win a playoff game? Can they compete against Brooklyn? Brooklyn is, you look at their minutes in playoff play. Got a couple of Hall of Famers on the team. We are the underdog, but the way our guys competed and fought tonight, I was proud of. But again, now the series starts. We got to go to their place and compete the same way. We're going to be the underdog again, and we got to do the same thing there. But I thought it helped us. I thought, as someone asked me Saturday, I thought it was great for our fans, for us to get a playoff victory here at home. But again, by no means that means the series is over. We got to continue to be the desperate team.
Steve Brotherston, Pro B-Ball Report. You went with a real short bench tonight for the first time in as long as most of us can remember. What was the strategy behind really tight rotation?
Well, again, I thought that the main adjustment personnel-wise was Landry. I thought he would give us some energy. Next game it may be different. You know, that's the thing about the playoffs, and I found out a long time ago back in Seattle that every game takes on a new meaning. Maybe Landry tonight, maybe Chuck Hayes the next game. You never know. And those are the adjustments we have to make and be ready for and you know, come through with. And, you know, from game to game and maybe quarter by quarter. But right now, your season's in the moment. It's not worrying about big picture or anything like that. So short bench, long bench. Next game it may be, you know, 12, 13 guys. So we just got to read the situation and utilize what we have.
Josh Lumber, TSN Radio. Coach, 21 turnovers, an issue again tonight. Where did they come from? Similar to game one, and how did you overcome those?
Well, you know, and that's the problem in trying to play faster than who you are. I mean, our whole thing was try to keep the tempo up, and, you know, that's not easy for us to do. We kind of get a little frenetic a little bit, and that's where our turnovers come. Then when you get in the half court, you get hit, bump, grab, held, some of those turnovers. So we got to get adjusted to whether we're playing fast or in the half court, playing through contact, and making a play and not turning it over. And that's been one of our Achilles' heels is turning over. One, trying to play faster. Two, the physicality in half court.
Ryan Wolstad, Toronto Sun. Dwayne, obviously Amir is a huge key for the team. He hadn't been being like his old self lately. What was different today, and what did he give?
Well, you know, I thought he gave it to us, you know, defensively. I thought his energy level was up. His focus was there, a different focus than he had Saturday and maybe the 12:30 game. I don't know, but he had it tonight. He came in with the energy and focus and defensive focus that we needed from him, and we need it every night. And, again, it's going to be even more so when we go to Brooklyn.
Hey, Coach. Ryan McNeil from Hoopstack.com. Kyle Lowry's defense today on Darren Williams was fantastic. Talk about his defensive impact today.
Well, Kyle is a really very tenacious defender, no matter who he's guarding. Darren Williams is you know, one of the toughest guys in the league to guard, one-on-one. We know that. You know, Kyle did a good job of working him. We sent, you know, extra people toward Darren. It's, you know, it's very difficult to stop him one-on-one. But again, you know, we want to make sure we keep our defensive focus, whether it's one-on-one, schematically, or whatever it is, we want to make sure it's there.
Coach, Grievous Vasquez once again had a pretty big outing for you. And over the season seems to be getting stronger. How important has he become to creating your offense?
He's very important on the offensive end. The one reason why he stayed in the game tonight was he played better defense. Because after watching the tape on Saturday, his defense wasn't up to snuff. And tonight he made a concerted effort of guarding, being where he's supposed to be and rotating, and that's why he stayed in the game. And right now, the attention to detail is so important. I mean, someone mentioned about leaving Paul Pierce open. You can't do that. You know, we spent 2 days watching film, going through situations, and we got to be on point, on target. And Gravis' defense, if he wants to stay in, has got to be there. But he's been great offensively, but he's got to do it on both ends.
James Herbert, SB Nation. There's a lot of talk about Brooklyn's small lineup and Pierce at the 4, but how big was the rebounding advantage that came as a result of that?
Well, you know, I thought that was huge. We was 52-30. You know, we got to do something positive. We've been chastised for a lot of other things, but I thought tonight we took advantage of it. So, but again, next game is going to be tougher. We know that. They're going to come out with guns a-blazing, and we got to go there and be ready for the fight.